Hello YouTube family. Is everybody's power back on? Y'all still alive? Everybody okay? The snowpocalypse get ya? I've got some entertainment for you then. We are going to be testing out the Red Heart all-in-one Granny Square Grande. And I believe each skein makes 4 squares. And we are going to try to make some pants out of these squares. So, and also we're going to be testing to see, do they work as intended? I actually have a lot of faith right now because I've liked the other two. I haven't tried the daisy one, but I tried the Red Heart Granny Square regular, loved it. Tried the Red Heart quilt motif, made a sweater out of it. You guys can check out the video that I posted last week. But yeah, let's get into it. You're supposed to be able to just keep stitching without having to weave in ends or change colors. So let's see how well it works. All right, so here she is, the yarn. So let's go ahead and get the instructions off the label here. Hopefully I didn't just rip them in half. Nope, I didn't. Okay, cool. So it says 1 ball will make 4 motifs. That's hilarious because I actually call yarn balls too and I always have to correct myself. 5.5 hook. Easy. I guess the squares end up being 12 inches. Leave a 4-inch tail to weave in. It's never actually just 4 inches. It's usually more like 12 from what I've, experienced. Okay, here's where it changes to the white. No, you know what? I think on these, yeah, they do the chain 4 and then slip stitch, which I actually prefer to do my granny squares that way, especially for garments. I don't know why, in my head it's stronger. So we are actually going to do that. Hang on one sec. So we'll do the chain 4 and connect. All right, and then we're going to do our center square. Okay, so it's 2 rounds in this color. And let me see what they're doing for the corners on these. Chain 3 in the corners. Alright, so there's the first round. Okay, I wonder what they're doing in between the clusters and the corners. Let's see what the instructions say. Okay, so it's 1 in between clusters and then 3 in the corner. Alright, we're getting close. Let's see if we've done it here. Alright, it's pretty close. We got about, not actually that close, it's about a foot off. So, well, let's see what it would be if we connected it. All right, and remember that's with us starting with like a foot long tail. So we still have another foot here that before the color change. So once again, we're gonna pull this out, double the tail length. Yeah, I guess we gotta make a 2-foot tail. I mean, that's the only way it's gonna work. I mean, you wanna start the first color off right, where it blends right into the next go, or the whole thing's thrown off. So we're gonna redo it, 2-foot tail, see what happens. All right, we're getting close to the end of the round. Oh yeah, bud. Perfect. I mean, I could even make this a little bit tighter so that it is really perfect. And then we're gonna connect it. So again, this won't be the same for every ball of yarn that you get like this, but this won't always be the case with every ball. But on this one, it had to be a 2-foot long tail in order for it to work. And I'm assuming as I get into the roll and going to make the second and third ones, the tail won't need to be that long. It'll be closer to the 4 or 6 inch range. Let's see, the next rows, you can just look at the picture and see it's gonna be 2 rows of the white. And ideally it'll go right into the black. So let's try it out. You know, I will say certain colors that have light spots in them of the other Red Heart Granny yarn had this too, but there's a lot of color bleeding or like staining of the yarn from, I mean, this is not supposed to have black yet, really at all, but as you can see, there's little spots where it's stained black. I'm not usually nitpicky about stuff like that. It doesn't really affect the overall look, so I'm not that worried about it, but it is something to note. I mean, right here you got one. This yarn's got a lot of them actually, the white color, but it's okay. It's for me, it doesn't really detract from the experience. You know, I more so think the science of the granny square being continuous is cooler. It's worth it to me. I don't even mind weaving in ends. I just don't really love having to have like 4 colors in your project bag whenever you're going to make some granny squares. I could just carry 1 yarn and I could make color work. See, look. See that dark spot right there? That's that one I just showed you. I mean, overall, when you look at it, it's not really gonna matter, I don't guess. But some people might not like that. Just thought I'd mention. Okay guys, update. I've finished both rounds, but I still have about a foot of white yarn left. I don't know that there's a world where I can reabsorb that much of it without making the stitches way bigger and therefore the holes way bigger. And I like this tension. So this is one of those things where it's like, the yarn is still useful because, like I said, you only have to bring 1 ball of yarn with you when you go somewhere, or if you want to go craft on the couch. You don't have to have all these different colors to make this. But I don't know, it's not always going to end how you want it to on the color change. And listen, it's fine. Yeah, there'll be an end to weave in. I can just crochet over it. It's not going to be that serious. If you're disappointed in me, I do apologize, but the goal is to have fun. This is a tool. We'll see if we can land it on the right spot for the next round, but I remember with this yarn before, there's many times that I just cut it. The granny motif yarn was way better at actually ending where it needs to. So look, we got a little, let's say 3-4 inch tail here on the black. I'm gonna start here in the middle. According to the instructions, 1 round of this color. Let's see if we can make it happen. Chat, oh my gosh, like it actually worked. The only problem is this yarn for the next color, it's white, right? But look how stained. It almost doesn't switch to white. I mean, this is exactly where it cuts off, changes colors, but look how dingy. I think that alone is gonna have to cause me to, and the inconsistency with how much is left after a round, I'm gonna have to give this one a bad review. I do still like it. I mean, I still like the texture of the yarn, I still like the colors, I'm still gonna use it, and I still like the fact that it does switch colors, you know, approximately this way. But yeah, that's a negative for sure. All right, so this is where we're at, of course. We just ended with the black row. Next row we have 2 white, or cream, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna go ahead and knock those out. Now, mind you, we are starting at the perfect spot in the color change right now. Even though the string is stained, it is technically right at the color change. So we're gonna see if it works out, if the math. One thing I am gonna do is I'm not gonna start here. I'm gonna slip stitch over to this to try to waste some of this stained yarn. I'm gonna use it to slip stitch over to this gap, if that makes sense. I don't know how this happened, but well, I started la 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 la, keep on going here. This is the white round, but guys, we have way too much. And I know for a fact on the black, we started at ground zero where you were supposed to start. But now we are finished with the white round, and I have, geez Louise, about 3 feet of white still. Like, why? And I even looked at the instructions to make sure like there wasn't something different about certain rounds. Here's the chart, nothing special about it. So I don't know, like it's so far I've only had to cut it once. 1, 2, 3, 4 in 4 colors, but I'm about to have to cut it again because there's no way I can absorb 3 feet of white. And think about it like this, if I had changed hook size or loosened my tension, the black round wouldn't have been perfect. It's just, this one might be even worse, technically worse than the original one. But I still like it. Like I said, I still enjoy this yarn. But look at this. You guys won't believe the amount of dappling of, black in this white. I mean, I'm starting to wonder if that's part of it. It's not consistently in all of it, but there's a lot of like black yarn staining in this white section. There wasn't nearly as much of it in the cream, so it makes me wonder if it's supposed to be black and white in this section. But no, when I look at the motif square in the example, there you go, it doesn't show any black spotting or anything in the white. It looks bright white, so I think it's an accident. Doesn't bother me. Again, I still think it's cute. Look how much is in this section from the back. It's just very gray, salt and peppery. But yeah, we're gonna be cutting the yarn on this one, guys. Oops, focus back, focus. I mean, look at this. It just makes you wonder, what did I do wrong? This yarn will make you feel crazy. Look at all this extra. The first one from the middle, the very first tail from the middle is 2 foot long, it's supposed to be 4 inches. This was the first time I had to cut it. We had that much left. And then look how much left on this one. I don't care. Y'all can say tight, you know, do looser tension, hook size up. It would have made the others not work out. You know what I mean? And I promise I'm not using different tension. Like, so it is what it is. How exciting. We only have 2 left. 2 clusters left in this gray round. And we don't have that much, about 2 foot here. We might get closer this time. Isn't it weird? Like the last round we had 3 feet extra. We cut it, tied it on. I would say I probably left a, where's the tail? A little tail, because I didn't want to mess myself up here. Maybe 3-inch tail there, even though I had to cut it. And let's see, we're gonna get these last 2 clusters done. Oh, one left. Boom, boom, and boom. Guys, it worked. Look at that. such a confusing thing here. I mean, I can get this slip stitch here. There we go. I don't get it. I don't get it. Again, if we would have not cut off the other 2 foot of the last color, upsize the hook, whatever, and change the tension, then this round would have been off. And this one's perfect. Same tension, same everything. So I don't get it. Actually, I'm gonna make that even more perfect by making these a little bit tighter. But so weird. Truly so weird. We'll finish up the black rounds, and then I'm gonna give my final thoughts. I will say I do want to make something out of these squares, but I think I'm gonna do what I did with the granny quilt motif, which is make the video on the yarn review, and then work on the video of what I'm gonna make out of it, because I haven't really decided. Part of me wants to make a pair of pants. Part of me, I've been promising my 8-year-old a sweater. It's pretty much since I started crocheting, and I've yet to make her one. And she's just a little gal, so it wouldn't take much. We could definitely use these granny squares for it. But so this video is going to be just my yarn review. We'll give my final thoughts in a minute, and then give me a week. We'll have a video on what did I make with these. All right, so we are done. And I will say, the black around the edge of this square is way richer than the black in the middle. You can see the difference here. Maybe. This one's like a charcoal gray. This is jet black, dude. No wonder some of this yarn is stained. I did find some bleeding spots in the gray as well. Not nearly as many, but look, like there's an example right there. I mean, I would almost expect it in the gray just because it's right beside the black. I don't know how yarn making works, but all in all, I'm gonna have to say, if I want to be real picky, the color bleeding is kind of annoying, especially when it's in like big chunks. The variation in the rows that work and the rows that don't, I did have to cut it twice, but we changed colors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I'm gonna rate this for functionality 5. It worked half the time. For color combination and ease of use, as far as being able to just put a yarn, a hook, in a bag and make a whole project, I'm gonna still give it like an 8 or 9, because like I said, I'm the type of person that I'll break down a color changing yarn anyway. I was just making some of these squares yesterday, and I made these out of a yarn that I took apart. This is Premier DK color, which I think is discontinued, but this yarn is the bomb, dude. It's smooth like embroidery thread. It's like a 3-weight, but I mean, you can see I completely disassembled and made little yarn skeins out of that. And I frequently do that. I do that all the time. I did that with the skull grannies that I made. So it doesn't bother me to cut the string. I don't even mind weaving in ends that much. I don't love doing it on granny squares because you don't have as many options to like really hide the yarn. You have like each little cluster and that's it. But like I said, take it with as you will. The quilt motif yarn, top tier. That stuff, I mean, you could just make square after square after square. I barely ever had to cut it. I think I cut it in the whole roll, which made 5 squares. I think I cut it like maybe 4 times, like once per square, and 1 square we didn't cut at all. So take it with a grain of salt. Take it as what you will. I do love the color combination they set up here. I am gonna make the rest of them not salty a bit. Still use their recommended hook size. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned pretty soon we're going to be making something to surprise my 8-year-old. She's always wanted me to make her a sweater. I always ignore her, and she's like the most grateful human alive when it comes to gift giving. So she deserves a little something. See you later.